Hey y'all, this is my April 5th update for the Planner HGC 2023 Herb Growing Challenge. So, the last update was March the 25th, and there actually hasn't been that much change since then. The cilantro has gotten a little bit bigger, as has the basil, but the rosemary and lavender are kind of stagnant. I mean, even the little sprout that I had for the lavender is probably exactly the same size. It's still alive, so that's good to see. But I had soaked some seeds for about 6 to 8 hours, and then I planted them, and they still didn't sprout. Now, maybe soaking them was a problem. I had some just soaked in water, and I put a little peroxide in a few of them. I wasn't sure how much peroxide to use, so I didn't put peroxide on all of them. But anyway, I just used that as an experiment. I forgot who mentioned that in what chat. Someone mentioned it in a live chat, and so I did it to half of the seeds, but none of the seeds have sprouted, and it's been since sometime around the 25th. It was soon after the last update, and anyway, I don't have any progress on that. I also, unfortunately, haven't been putting these outdoors like I was trying to harden them off by putting them outdoors a little bit at a time so they can get acclimated to being outdoors. You can't just put them outdoors if they haven't had, exposure to the sun, because the sun is hot. It would burn them up. Now, I do have my plants in this patio door window, so they do get a little bit of sunlight, but it's not direct sunlight. I have a few plants over here that obscure the sun a little bit, but they do get a little bit of sunlight, but it's not outdoor sunlight. So I want to acclimate them to being outdoors by letting them go out a little bit at a time. I think my biggest mistake was I was waiting until after work to do it, and so that made it so that I wasn't consistent with doing it. I did it for a few days, but it wasn't consecutive days, and I want to really try to do 4 to 5 days, building up on the time that they're out there. So what I'm going to switch to doing is I'm going to do it during the daytime. I do work from home, and I get real busy sometimes, and even though I work from home, I just don't have it like that where I can just do as much as I would want to do, because the workload sometimes is a little crazy. But I'm going to start maybe during my lunch break, or just a specific time. Just make sure I put them outdoors for an hour or so. I only have to do this for a week or so. I do have my other seedlings that I'm trying to harden off to get them outdoors too. So anyway, it's going to be a process, but it's not going to be like I'm going to be doing this for months and months at a time. So I'm just going to make sure I do this over this coming weekend, and then probably by the early next week they'll be outdoors, because I think they will do much better outdoors. I also kind of realized that one problem so many of my plants are doing okay in here. I mean, these other seedlings are doing really well, and they are in the same soil mixture, because I was kind of like, maybe my soil mixture is the problem, because I have a indoor potting mix mixed with coco coir, like half and half. So I felt like it's probably too wet for these seeds, or maybe that's what the problem is. But I don't know what the problem is, because I did have a rosemary sprout, but then it started suffering, and I felt like it was because of the moisture. Maybe it was too wet, and then the same thing with the lavender. Either way, I think it'll be much better when they actually get outdoors. So that's my goal now, is just to get them outdoors. I do have some plants outdoors, including some herbs. I want to plant more herbs in general, and I did plant some of these same herbs outdoors at the beginning of March, and so I'm going to add in the clip to show how they're doing. These are the main seeds that I want to show their progress over this challenge, for anyone who wants to try this with these particular herbs or with any herbs, and so that they can just kind of watch their story, quote unquote story, the story of these herbs or this process. I do, even with the other herbs out there, I want to finish the story for these. And that's even though I'm going to be adding new seeds. Obviously, I have to add new seeds for the rosemary and the lavender whenever I get them outside, which will hopefully be definitely be before this time next week. And so by the next update on April 25th, all of this will be outdoors, and I'll show you all the setup. I haven't quite decided on it, so stay tuned to see that. And also just stay tuned to see the little clip that I have of my herbs growing outdoors, because a good thing about planting them indoors and outdoors, and I don't think this is like this proves that outdoors is better, because some of my seeds indoors are doing a lot better than the ones I started outdoors. But in the case of these herbs, the ones outdoors are doing better. So, well, with the exception of the cilantro, but I started the cilantro outdoors after I started this cilantro. So this cilantro in here is further along. And a point I was trying to get to, what I've enjoyed about watching everybody's progress through this challenge, and just search for a planner HGC 2023 to look to see other videos from other people participating in the challenge. And it's just interesting to really watch the seeds and see how they grow, because it's easy to get discouraged, especially with stuff like this. But sometimes for all of them, I feel like they're staying here for a long, long time. But through this process, of course, it's, you realize that, oh, some of them may be slow, but a lot of them, they do develop at a good pace. Maybe not rapidly. Maybe some of them rapidly. Like I have some beans over here that came up really fast, and like squash and stuff. That stuff developed. It just depends on the plant. And as you grow from seed, you kind of get more experience, more exposure and more experience with growing seeds. And it's just, they're all different. They're like individuals. So it's just an interesting thing to experience as a gardener. Anyways, I'm pretty long-winded today. I'm going to tack on that little bit of video and try to keep all of this under 10 minutes. Thanks for watching, y'all, and I hope y'all are growing. Everyone who's participating in the challenge, I hope you're doing well. And even everyone who's just growing herbs, period, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you share your experience if you have a channel, or if you decide to start a channel, so we can see your garden, because people like me, we nosy, we want to see what you're doing. And get, it's entertainment, but it's also informative, educational, motivational, inspirational. Do all that stuff for us by sharing your garden and just your garden story. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. So the top container is cilantro. And this one is lavender. A few over there. I also have a lot of rosemary out here. I believe this is more cilantro. And then this is mint. I haven't planted any basil outdoors, but I will. It'll likely go in here with this oregano. Anyways, that's my update for April 5th. Thanks for watching. Sorry, I almost forgot to share the mint, which is doing really well. It has really flourished in this indoors. It's doing better here than I've ever had any of my mint do so far. And I did plant a lot of seeds in this little container, and I plan to use this as a source to propagate, to spread it throughout my garden, indoors and outdoors. All right, y'all, for real this time. Thanks for watching.